Hi, it's Wayne from How to Fish. Ever have one of those days where the fish just pick at your bait and you can't catch anything? Well, I had one of those this morning. The fact is, if you can get bites, you can get fish. I'll just show you some of the subtle changes that I made that got me some fish on a day when otherwise I would have got nothing. I got here this morning, it's been overcast, which is really great. I got here first light. Now all I'm doing is casting out to the same spot each time. I am using burley just to get some attraction into the area. What I want to do is put the burley in first, and after a few casts, probably change to say a swivel sinker or something like that. But I just want to get some interest in the area, see how we can actually catch fish that way. So out to my target zone. Just using a tree over the other side of the river as my marker, so I'm casting in line with that each time. Right, just want to hit, boom, right to the spot. I've got a size 2 hook on here, big piece of chicken on it. I've used pilchard, I've used squid. They do like the chicken more at the moment, so I'm using that. Feeling that down, but the trouble is that that size 2 is just that little bit big, and I've been catching smaller stuff, hoping to try and now separate out some of the bigger fish, but I don't think that's going to be the case. I'm getting the first bites. Okay, that looks like a fair bite. Right, okay, so got something happening now. So let's just see if I can get this one in. I lost the last one. Feels like it's probably a little pinky. Yeah, it is. So, little pinky, not bad. I can feel tension on the line, and when the tension stops and the rod relaxes, I know that the weight has hit the bottom. So at the moment it's falling. Still falling through the water because it's probably about 15 meters deep there. Now that's landed. And I'm getting, so I'm getting bites so quickly, I'm gonna have to do something else because these are all small fish. So I've got a big rod with bigger baits on, but the trouble is that's being stripped of bait. So at the moment there's only small stuff around. And I'll give you like an idea of what's out there at the moment. So there's a little flatty, little flathead there. So there's fish about, but there's a lot of small ones, and the bait is going very, very quickly. I just want to work out how long it takes to get bites. Because I've been using burley, that gets the fish into the area. Now it's just starting to get the tugs on it now. So that was just a hit. Small fish pulling at the bait, which is really frustrating. The more accurate you're casting, the faster the bites, especially if you're getting them into a really tight target zone. And that's what happened here. Shortly after just putting my rod down, I was getting bites all the time, then I got a reasonable fish. Now these were not huge fish, but at least I was getting a steady stream of bites and fish on a day when I was really struggling to get anything at all because the fish were just picking at my bait. It's interesting, I started the morning off with larger hooks. So I had these size 2 bait holder hooks, using those big pieces of chicken on them, and the pickers were pulling them off. So then what I did is I went down to a size 4. So going down in size, I was getting more bites, but they were still pulling the bait off. Then finally what I had to do is get to a size 8. So it's a much smaller hook with a smaller piece of chicken on it. So sometimes you have to make it really subtle. But the other thing is I put on a lightweight trace. Okay, radio. Now after a number of casts into the same spot, I went down in hook size. Get it, so he's not going to be a big one. They just fight very well on light gear. The head bobbing and everything. There we go. Well, actually, he's a bit better than the others. Wow, all right. Let's see. Okay. So the rig that did it for me today was burley cage, a running burley cage. That's carrying my burley and acts as my sinker. Then what I did is I tied on a fluorocarbon trace there, which is finer than my main line because I needed that to be much more natural in the water. And with that, I had a much smaller hook. So I went from main line of about 7 kilos down to fluorocarbon of about 4 kilos. It's much finer and a much smaller hook. And that's what got me the biggest fish of the day, even late into the session. So it just shows you that sometimes you've got to change things down. You've got to make things more subtle, line harder to see, smaller hooks, and you can still catch reasonable fish with it. If you enjoyed the video today, please give it a like and subscribe. And for all the techniques that I was using, go to my website, howtofish.com.au. See you next time.